All right, Jay, it is that time, prediction video time. Paul Daniel Jr., Jay Morrison here with you, talking about Bengals Vikings, which is going to be at 1 o'clock on Sunday in Minneapolis. Very excited for this one, Jay. We got a lot to get to. We're going to get into the news of the week, some injury stuff, a very highly anticipated referee report coming in this one. We're going to talk a little bit about the stats that matter most, offer up our Growler Bet for you guys to try to win some free drinks at our next live show, which is at BetMGM and Tom's Watch Bar at the Banks for the game against the Detroit Lions on October 5th. So we'll have the opportunity for that. And we'll offer our predictions for what we expect to happen between the Bengals and the Vikings. What's your gut telling you right now? Are you feeling any feel, or are you I feel like this game is a little bit of a human shrug emoji right now.
Yeah, it's hard to figure out. I could see you can make an argument for it going either way. Well, actually, four ways. You could see a Bengals blowing out the Vikings with Carson Wentz, who's only been there for a couple weeks. You could see the Vikings blowing out the Bengals with Flo's defense against Jake Browning. You could see it with a tight game going either way, going down to the wire, which tends to be the case when these two teams play, and it's not that often. So, yeah, it is. Shrug emoji, head scratching, whatever you want to say. This is a classic. This is why they play the games. You don't play it on paper. You can't figure it out. Let's just wait till we get to 1 o'clock Sunday and see how it plays out.
We're going to try to figure it out, though. We're going to get into this for you right now. Okay, the Vikings are 1-1. They beat Chicago with a thrilling, explosive fourth quarter comeback in week 1. They got smoked by Atlanta last week, 22-6. CBS has shipped out the A-team, not knowing it was going to be Browning versus Wentz.
Yep.
So you've got Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson on the call. Vikings are favored by 3 at home with the over-under at 41.5. BetMGM listeners right now, I'm saying if I had a feel, if I was doing something like that, love the over on the 41.5 number this week if we're going under. Are you with me on that one?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's funny you mentioned BetMGM. We are kind of like the Bengals defense where you never know what you're going to get week to week. Week 1 prediction shows at BetMGM. Week 2 prediction show, it's on the field at PBS or at Paycor. And week 3 prediction show, we're here in our home studios. Who knows? Next week,
you never know. We're everywhere.
Cincinnati Zoo, maybe everywhere. Next week.
Yeah. All around the world. That could be fun. Let's see if we can find 17 different locations
I'm in
to do these at. I don't know if I'm in on that, but I like the concept. I like the concept. Injuries and news, Jay. People know the big injury, of course. And that's Joe Burrow. We have Jake Browning in. Brett Rippon is your backup quarterback, despite 2 more quarterbacks added to the practice squad. He's been here for a few weeks, but it's his Jake Browning show. Shamar Stewart, Jay, he's probably not going to play this week. You got to feel like that's going to have an impact down the line.
Yeah, I mean, more snaps for Myles Murphy, you would assume. Joseph Osai's already been getting a pretty decent chunk, so this is going to be more for Myles Murphy. The ones that are more interesting is Cam Taylor-Britt. I ran and got Wendy's after they kicked us out of practices, and I'm driving back from my Wendy's run. I see Cam Taylor-Britt walking off the field with Director of Rehab Nick Cosgray. Turns out he has a hamstring injury that forced him out of practice. And then he went limited yesterday. Obviously, he started, didn't finish. And Logan Wilson showed up limited with an ankle injury. So we'll see. We're recording this Thursday morning before practice. We'll see how that plays out later today.
Yeah, keep that locked to the feeds on X and everywhere else. Jay and I will have the updates for you on that. Don't worry, Jay still loves Arby's. He just has to shake it up every now and again and go somewhere else. It's okay.
There's
Wendy's
not one
is okay.
close to
You're allowed
Paycor.
to do some Wendy's.
Someone needs to build one close to Paycor.
All right, Jay. So that's kind of the setup as far as injuries and some of the news. Let's move forward and get to something that I've been waiting to talk about, and that is this week's referee report featuring, that's right, guess who it is? It is the evil, despised Ron Corbin. Can you believe it? Kick a man while he's down, they say. Bringing in Ron Torbert the week after Joe Burrow goes out for minimum 3 months. Cruel, diabolical stuff from the NFL.
I mean, I made a guess with you. I made a guess with James Rapine that he was going to be the ref this
You
week, and
did.
it turns out it was the case. I don't know how they do their rotations, but if you remember, he was scheduled to do the season finale against Pittsburgh last
I
year, and they
do.
pulled him off the game for whatever reason. The NFL didn't comment on it, but we get to Pittsburgh, and there's Ron Torbert's name on the flip card. They had already printed those, or the change was made later in the week, so it just felt like the Bengals were due to get Ron Torbert. And there's been a lot of issues there, but the funny thing is, the Bengals are 10-5 with Torbert doing their games.
Mm.
The Vikings are 3-4 with Torbert doing their games. So um, it's the really weird thing is that the complaints that Bengals fans, even some inside the organization, have with Torbert, the NFL does not agree. He has had playoff assignments in each of the last 5 years, including Super Bowls, 2 of the last 4 years. And just overall, since he became a head ref, he's had playoff assignments every year, it seems like. So it's a little surprising that it just doesn't work out. Maybe there is a vendetta. Maybe everybody's villain label for Ron Torbert is justified in some way. But he is one of the most flag happy refs in the league. Short sample size this year, but the last couple of years he's been in the top 5 in flags thrown per game, and not just him, his entire crew. And the crews do change from year to year, but there's definitely history there.
There's an understatement of the day. Yeah, definitely gets playoff assignments every year. Bengals fans, we
Yeah.
know, we know. Super Bowls, AFC Championship
Yep.
games, fifth downs, holding calls, uh, striking some chords here with Bengals fans. So Ron Torbert is the guy. Prepare yourself. If Bengals lose, there is no doubt in my mind that there will be some level of complaint about something that happened with Ron Torbert. It's just the way things go around here. All right, Jay, let's get into our stat that matters most. What is the stat for you that will determine a win or a loss in this game for the Bengals?
So we saw it when Jake Browning came in 2023, where he let it rip. He wasn't afraid. The offense didn't change a whole lot. That his second career start, he goes 34 of 38 on Monday Night Football against Jacksonville. I don't know that's going to be the case this time, especially against Brian Flores and that Minnesota defense. I think the Bengals are going to really lean into the running game in this game and try to just get it on track. They have really struggled to run the ball the first 2 weeks. But even though the Vikings have Justin Jefferson on the other side, I don't think Carson Wentz scares them. So I think they're comfortable going in with the game plan. We're going to run the ball. We're going to get Chase Brown going. So I'm going to go there. If they have success running the ball, I think that's the key to victory on Sunday. And so I'm going to say yards per carry. If they can be over 4 yards per carry in this game, I like their chances to win.
Yeah, I mean, they have to reinvigorate that run game
Mm-hmm.
somehow, and I'd expect to see a lot more under center, 2 tight ends,
Yep.
using that to play off play action. I have a story up
Naked boots.
in what's that?
Naked
Naked Boots.
boots.
I was very tempted
I was.
to ask Jake if he's requested when they ask him his thoughts, he's like, "No more naked boots." Wasn't that the Minnesota
I
game
think it.
where you could read his lips yelling that to the sideline and no more naked boots?
I think it was
No
the
more
Indy
nakeds.
game because they were
Yeah.
fighting to get back into that Minnesota game, but they beat Indy pretty handily, and they were still running naked boots, and he's getting
No more
popped every
naked.
time.
Mine is going to be how Jake Browning handles the blitz. Look, Brian Flores
Mhm.
blitzes more than any coordinator in the game. I don't see him changing his stripes here, but that is how they can chunk these guys. It's how they can find
Mhm.
explosives. That's how Jake Browning was able to beat them in 2023. Go back to that game. He's against the blitz. He was 14 of 20 for 152 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, 0 sacks when blitzed in that game. He was able to take advantage of them.
Mhm.
He was able to see it and process it and not let it be the reason they lose. It was the reason that they won. Can he do that again? What did Brian Flores learn from that? How different are the blitz? Are they more talented this time where that changes it? Very curious to see that. I'll put a passer rating number at 95. Over 95 passer rating against the blitz, Bengals win. Because I think that's the opportunity where if they can handle it, I don't know if that no sacks number is going to happen, but if you can have a limit on the number of turnovers and sacks that come out of the blitz, you're going to get one-on-one opportunities where Jake can do what he loves to do, and that's throw it up to T, throw it up to Jamar, and let them try to take advantage of things. That's my stat that matters in this one. All right, Growler Bet time. Growler Bet for this week. Of course, send your submissions into the Growler Podcast at gmail.com. Put something funny with the word Growler in the subject header. We will give you a shout out on PD and J. For this week, though, this week's Growler Bet, it is going to be Bengals penalty yards. Yeah, we're going there. We're going there. Bengals penalty yards assessed by Ron Torbert against them. How high will it go? What will the number be? I guess you can hope on maybe some pass interference or something like that can throw the number off so you can get it to end in a 9, which I know you guys want. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on where this ends up. But if you want to win some drinks at our next live show on me down at BetMGM and Tom's Watch Bar, send in your submissions for how many penalty yards will be assessed against the Bengals in Sunday's game against Minnesota. What do you got, Jay?
So again, surprisingly, Bengals with Torbert, 37 or fewer penalty yards in 4 of their last 5 games. The outlier there being 9 penalties for 71 yards in that AFC Championship loss at Kansas City. I do think it'll be kind of back down in that low range. Even if there are a lot of penalties, I think they're going to be maybe false starts or motions because of the crowd noise, and 5 yards here and there, they add up in terms of meaning, but they don't add up in terms of volume for this bet. So I'm going to keep it low. I'm going to go 44.
44 is your number. All right.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I think it probably gets. I just feel like there's going to be one big DPI involved here that chunks it up. So give me 55. Give me 55
Okay.
as my number, and
2
so
palindromes.
yeah. There was a very high number of people that sent in 111 as the Jamar Chase number last week, and people just trying to play to your trying to palindrome for you. They're out here working for you, Jay. All right. On that note, prediction. What do we think's happening?
I'm going to lean back into my never bet against the trend philosophy. The last 2 times the Bengals and Vikings have played, the final score has been 27-24 in overtime. Let's run it back 3 in a row. I don't know if that's ever happened in NFL history. Why not have something to write about with that? I do think I talked earlier about how it could go any one of 4 ways. I do think a close game is more likely, and I feel like the close win in week 1, the close win last week, the game-winning drive at the end, Jake Browning kind of has a knack for that. He had 2 of those back in 2023 when he played. I think the Bengals find a way to get into field goal position. Maybe it's not overtime, but I'm going to pick it because of the history. And they win this one, a close one on an Evan McPherson field goal, 27-24.
McPherson at the gun, he says.
And the bets go over.
And the bets go over, no doubt. I'll say this. I'm really curious to see with Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown can be the key to unlocking this game, like you said, whether that's in the past, whether that's through the screen game, something that he was successful with Jake Browning back in 23, or just working stuff to him out of the backfield, and doesn't have to just be handing the ball off, but ways to take advantage of the blitz and things like that to get to use Chase Brown in that way. Curious to see if he can be a difference maker. That said, you go back and look, and Jay, I know we've done this math. You've done this math of 2-0 starts, 3-0 starts, 0-2 starts, 0-3 starts. We've done these a lot, and it's been concerning numbers. Here's the optimistic one. The Bengals win this game and go 3-0. Since the expansion of the playoffs, 86% of teams that start 3-0 have made the postseason, 19 of 22. That is a significant number. Jake Browning, Joe Burrow, Carson Wentz, whoever, name who your quarterback doesn't. You start 3-0. That is a significant number, and I think we start to talk a little differently about this team if Jake Browning and this team can go up and find a way to win in Minnesota, one of the toughest places in football, no matter what their circumstance is, and have 2 road wins and be 3-0. And I just think it'll feel a lot different. I'm not picking that to happen. I have the Vikings winning 26-23. But again, I think it's very much anything could happen in this game because there's so much unknown with the first full Browning start, Carson Wentz in the mix. What's going to there's just a lot of stuff that I don't think you totally know, the small sample size of this season in general. So for that fact, I have the Vikings 26-23, but right on the number there. But outside of that, who knows? I feel silly even making a prediction for this game considering how many variables there are. Other than Ron Torbert will anger Bengals fans. That's
Yes,
the one thing
at
that I'm
some point.
standing by. All right, Jay, appreciate it. We will have, of course, the walkout coming to you. I will be down. I'll be in Minneapolis at the bank after the game, and we'll have everything you want in the walkout presented by Joseph Toyota of Cincinnati. Locker room reaction, all the stats, drives of the game, everything you come to expect from us there. So look for that. Who Dey Light also coming your way. So take it all. The content won't stop. We'll have all of it. And looking forward to reacting to talking about something new this week, Jay. Could use a change of topic. We
Yeah,
just
we
knew
could.
that. Thanks, everybody.